Hello class. Today we are going to talk about cliche. Now, if you look into your articles that I sent you, there's a definition of cliche. What is a cliche? Cliche is an expression that was once innovative but has lost its novelty due to overuse. An expression which was once a novelty, once a very, what should I say, a very nice way of saying something, very unique way of saying something, but it has been used so many times, it has been overused, and as a result it has become something which people do not want to hear anymore. um, like we all know about the phrase that they have given here, all that glitters is not gold. People have used this. Once it was said, it was unique, few times used, it was very nice to hear. But gradually what happened, people got tired of hearing that, and so we just use a part of it. We either say glitters, we want to say all that glitters is not gold. Sorry, just give me a minute. Let's continue. So once people used to say that all that glitters is not gold, the full sentence, and gradually it became bad to hear repeated times. So what we did was we started using glitters, not gold, something like that. Um, it has been overused, and phrases like as red as a rose. So rose is considered to be red. We all know that that is not the only color that we have of rose, but people have started considering that that is the, I mean, the red of a rose is too prominent, too happening, too much. Uh, I mean, like the color of the heart, like the expression of someone giving the heart and something like that, and so it has become very commonplace and unoriginal. There is no more originality in using these cliches. It has been overused. Nick of time, speed of light, head over heels, every cloud has a silver lining. You'll hear people saying just silver lining. So that's your silver lining. So instead of saying, so that is your silver lining of the cloud, or every cloud has a silver lining, or things like that, people just refer to the cliche. No more going into the details of it. Um, the cliches should be avoided in writing, and I have given three cliches, example of three cliches, which is okay to use in writing. Suppose the struggle is real, back in the day, things like that. I mean, I'm referring to history, I say back in the day. I am talking about someone really struggling hard, the struggle is real. These are being overused, but still they need to be used. You cannot avoid using them. Um, mm, some of the simple cliches, characterizations, cliches, these are certain things which cannot be avoided. Cliches are advised to be avoided, but some of them cannot be avoided. How to avoid them? Sit with a dictionary or an online, I mean, hard copy or an online copy of a dictionary, and try to find out the meaning of the actual phrase. So as red as a rose actually means like the real color of the heart, or too much, um, too much red, a very palpitating red, or the color of love. So that means it represents love. That means it represents loyalty, uh, something very touching and feeling. So instead of saying as red as a rose, go with the meaning of the word, because that that sentence as red as a rose has been used too many times. So avoid them. Next is 20 common cliches to be avoided when you're writing. I mean, I have given you the list of this, and um, can of worms, dead as a doornail, plenty of fish in the sea, ignorance is bliss. Instead of saying ignorance is bliss, we say that that is a bliss. So, bliss. When we are speaking, when we are writing, write, don't write, use even a part of the word. What you are to do is you are to write about the uh, meaning of it. Ignorance is bliss. Instead of writing this cliched phrase, write that so he can rest happily because he doesn't know. Come out with the meaning of it. Every rose has a thorn. The rose may be very beautiful, but there is something bad in it. Uh, there has to be something bad in it. So go ahead and talk in details about what you actually want to say. Um, uh, there is another article that I have given you where again the definition of cliche is given, and expressions that are not cliches. Sometimes um, some words are repeated. As I said, it is okay to use them even if it is cliched, and that you have to remember has become again, I mean, they have been started uniquely, then they had become cliches because of overuse. Then it was found that in spite of the overuse, we cannot do without them. So they have again, I mean, relieved themselves of being criminalized as cliches. They have become free. So what are those free words? I second the motion. I now pronounce you man and wife. I do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute such and such stuff. Happy birthday. These are all which have been set free from the saying called cliche. They are no more cliches. But there are some common examples of cliche. In the nick of time, only time will tell, no matter of time, sorry, a matter of time, lasted an eternity, lost track of time. This is something regarding time. As brave as a fox, as brave as a lion, as clever as a fox, as old as a hill. So obviously there are stories behind this, and that is why they have been used. But now they are used so much that you are requested not to use them because these are cliches. No one wants to hear cliches. Frightened to death, scared out of one sweet, every cloud has a silver lining. I already said this. They all lived happily ever after, fall head over heels, waking up on the wrong side of the bed, and stuff like that. So here is what is the function of cliche, and how why is it that it has said, and what has this sociologist found out about it, that is given here. You may read it. This is not important that much, but what is important is that people are talking about it. People are, what should I say, um, these are the reasons why cliche, I mean, unique sentences have become cliches and people are not using them, or in spite of that, in spite of being cliches, people have understood that these are indispensable and have put them in their vocabulary, in their uh, culture of how they talk. Next thing that I would like to do is reason to avoid cliche. So I'll talk about the reason to avoid cliche. I'll share my screen with you so that you can get a glimpse of what I'm trying to say. I'm sorry guys, this is taking a bit longer than I had imagined. Okay, fine. What is going on? So my screen was not properly shared. Okay, I hope now you can see the screen or whatever. So I move this on the top and we can continue. So the real reason we shouldn't use cliche. Adding them to your writing or dialogue can show realism and give your essays a conversational tone. But where is the danger? The danger, what is the danger? Give me a minute. Uh, the danger is cliches are mental shortcuts or familiar concepts. Your brain processes the phrase quickly, having heard it many times, and ascertains the meaning without needing to visualize the image or think about the writer's intention. So that is why cliches are to be avoided. Why? Because the concept has been heard lots of times. The phrase, we are habituated with it. So our brain does not take the time to process. Okay, this is something I have heard, let it be. But why has the writer used it? The writer has used it because he or she wants to communicate certain feelings that the person has. And that feeling can only be related if you actually process the quote or the phrase or the cliche and what has been written. But our brains are so habituated hearing it that they don't do it. So that is why what happens is that we start avoiding that. I mean, overlooking that. Here is one example: one bad apple spoils the branch. They are asking you if you can visualize one bad apple spoils the branch. So visualize a barrel, see dozens of apple in it, just try to see how many, and where are the rotten ones, how many have been ruined. Did you need to pick up a few good ones to see the rot? Would you eat any of them? So these are all the imagery that comes to your mind when you actually hear the sentence, one bad apple spoils the bunch, for the first time, for the second time. But as you go on hearing it repeatedly, what happens is you don't think about all this imagery. And when you don't think about all these images, you cannot really relate to why that has been used. And you miss it. What are they saying here? Matt took the first sip, volunteering to be our guinea pig. You have heard the guinea pig word so many times that you don't visualize the pig, and that it is being a sorry, it is being a laboratory subject, it is being repeatedly, it is suffering, or it is being observed or something like that. But when you talk about a different expression, volunteering to be a laboratory mouse, uh, or anything like that. So now what happens is, uh, because we haven't heard this word, we try to form the image in our mind. We think about the cage, the scientist, mouse, the cute little mouse, and gradually what Matt has done becomes very apparent to us, becomes very clear to us. Here they have given you a game to play. You may like playing that, so I will not go into the details of that. Next, next article that I shared with all of you is what is so bad about cliche. So they have given you all the things that I have already given. In academic writing, especially in formulaic introductions or conclusions, uh, it is best to be avoided, because now we are talking in the way we talk. I mean, referring to newer gadgets, newer things. Best to leave those uh, so many times used words which were which are not that much used in modern society. Mm. When you are writing some application essays, there are certain words given that should not be used. Um, any other types of writing where you should stop using the nick of time, opposite attracts, and things like that. Why shouldn't you use cliche? I'll share the screen here. That will be easier for you. Uh, yeah. Why shouldn't you use cliche? Cliches make you seem boring. They make your writing and argument interchangeable with anybody else's. Cliches are vague. Cliches make you seem lazy. You didn't want to explain it, and so you used the cliche, and you went ahead. You makes you seem lazy. And this, if you are using cliches more than one, people think that you don't have any originality or credibility. You lose your credibility because you are not talking about something which you have authority on. You are just copying others. And cliches are poor substitutes of the real thing. How to tell when you are using a cliche? So what are the areas you have to be aware of, so that you understand that you're not using a cliche, and if we have used it, what to do, how to brainstorm or research or do anything else to get rid of the cliche, and make your writing more clear, more concise, more up to the concept, modern concept, and not using something which was there behind us. Okay, I'll next move on to the last two articles that I shared. Ten tips to avoid cliches in writing. So avoid stolen or borrowed tales. Resist the lot of sensational. There is no need to be sensational. Your way of talking is unique, so talk in your way. Turn a stereotype on its head, and then tell a story only if you can tell a story. Keep it real by taking it slow, and deliver your story from the normal ordinary cliches. Get rid of the melodrama and stuff like that. Those are the things that they are talking about. Just a minute. Okay. 10 common cliches and the powerful truth they hold. Uh, I have been talking about all the cliches that we should avoid, but in between, I have been telling you that there are certain cliches that cannot be avoided, and as a result, they are normal to use. They are certain things that you could use, like action speaks louder than words. The grass is always greener on the other side. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. um, you can't judge a book by its cover. You can please everyone. These are certain things, certain sayings, certain cliches which have become a part of our normal life. So you need to, what should I say, you need to remember that these are okay to be used. These have been set free from being cliche. uh, as you can see, guys, I haven't sent any assignment this week because you have already given a test. I am in the process of correcting and giving you marks uh, regarding that test. Next week, I'll start the week with an assignment. So read your cliche articles properly so that you can answer the, I mean, assignment. Um, So always remember what is a cliche. A cliche is nothing but a phrase or a saying which has been there for so long time that people refuse to say about it anymore. The entire sentence is never said these days. And if possible, the meaning is explained and the cliche is avoided. If there is a time when we cannot avoid cliches, we try to restrict it in the non-professional medium. That is one thing. We use our cliches in what should I say, at when we are speaking, when we are trying to explain something. In addition to this, there are certain cliches um, which have become free from being cliched. Some words and phrases which have become free. So remember those words most importantly. You can very easily understand a cliche and try even to explain it, but non-cliche is not always a phrase or a saying or something like that. Non-cliched phrases are powerful, and even in their cases, we can just be very careful and try to use some part of the imagery or the meaning that is given in the cliche, and that makes it stronger. Just using the cliche is not enough in these days. You have to relate a little bit of background, and little bit of background means talking about a story which is not far back but very near, uh, to near to the present age. Okay, so I hope I have made myself clear. If you have any more doubts, please go ahead and leave your don't leave it in the assignment page, leave it in the first top announcement page or the classroom page that we have. And if necessary, if I get too many questions, I'll make a video out of it. If I get few questions, 4 or 5 questions, I'll try to make a video separately of that and send it to you. Okay, so let us end the meeting.